incorporate it into the teaching as I go, and
Yeah,
I think it's going okay. I explained to them the first five are the active parts,
yeah.
and that those are the things I can help them with. But after that, it's up to them. It's their practice. That you
Uh-huh.
can't really lead practice. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, but you should explain to them the remaining parts, what they are. You can explain
Well,
what, and you can
I
also,
haven't got that far.
you are practicing the meditation, you can, that is up to you. You can tell them how you meditate and how it relates to what it says, and you can give them different ideas about meditation, like what they can do, how they can meditate on object which is solid, or they can meditate on sound, or they can meditate on visualization. And basically it is a meditation, and then how they can focus, and unless you have practiced it for a while, you will not be able to, but you can still give them the ideas of how, what they can do.
Mhm.
It will
Well,
not,
they're
as long as they are not doing for long, very long time, like 2 3 hours a day, it will not harm them at all. It will only benefit them.
but they're active Christian Catholics, two of them,
Uh-huh.
and I wonder how can you incorporate this into their Catholic beliefs?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell them that in Nicole Capel, she is Catholic Christian, so they can meditate on the cross. That means they have to remember that cross in some way. They can remember it as some kind of chanting or saying something. I don't know whether they say some things, but I saw some Christian people saying some things. Or they can remember it by just watching the cross in their mind. So that Catholic, or they can try to write down their their teachings. Suppose their major teachings are written in 5 lines, they can go on repeating those lines again and again, and that will be meditation on that. So
Now,
you,
when they're going into
as a Catholic person, they might learn something in the church, but they will forget it when they go home, or when the real situation comes, they will forget it. So they should try to remember it all the time. To remember all the time is the meditation.
that might be it, is to say when they have the homily, when they talk, the priest talks to them, try to
Uh,
remember what he said all week long.
Yeah, they have to remember it, and you have to tell them a technique to remember. Just to say, just to tell somebody that every day you should exercise, but they will forget it because they are not used to it. So you have to tell them how to do it. Like they can have a picture of B.K. Iyengar in the some dancer pose in front of their room. So when they see that, they feel like doing that, something like that, whatever they feel.
Okay.
Or I don't know, there must be some aphorisms in Christianity. Like, in Muslim, there is this La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulillah, means the God is great and Muhammad is the messenger. Similarly, in Christianity, there must be something like that. And they go on repeating that. Oh,
Hmm.
you have
Well,
to try it anyway. First, you have to try it. Unless you try it, you don't know. But once you try it, it will automatically lead you to what you need to do.
that's a good clue.
Yeah.
We just in this practice, it's a practice. That's why we try different things. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, try something else.
Yeah. And you can also, when you meet different people, then you know what to do. Like if you meet a Christian people, You have to tell them in a Christian way. If you meet a Muslim person, you have to tell them the same logic in Muslim way. Of course, if there is a total contradiction, then that portion you have to decide what to do. But that's what happened in your case. They are not coming aggressively to you.
Yeah, we're in a Christian community,
Yeah.
so anything else is foreign. But
That
even
is why
we
that is why all
established,
that is why many Indian people, when they go there, they give the example of Christianity always. So they get more followers. Like Yoga, the Paramahansa autobiography of Yogi. His head office is in Los Angeles. Self-realization fellowship. He gave the whole yoga knowledge, but he always used the Christian um, context, so that
yeah,
that helps them.
yeah.
Any other question?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so basically, where we went last time is that the person is now has completed the first 5 limbs and he has gone into the chitta. That means he is sitting in a meditative pose and he has forgotten the body. Mainly, you have to understand that he has forgotten the body and he is in the chitta. Forgotten body means he is in the chitta. Forgotten body means only mind is left, because spirit is something you cannot directly do anything with. So body, mind and spirit, these are the only 3 things. All those elements of Sankhya, they fit into body, mind and spirit. And that is why in Adi Yoga, I made it very simple, body, mind and spirit, and forget all the small details like knowledge organs and action organs and 5 elements, earth, etc. Body, mind, and spirit. That's what the human being is, and the surrounding. So once that person has finished the first 5 limbs, his senses are inside, and then therefore only the mind is left as far as the existence is concerned. So now he is in the mind and he is of the mind and he is for the mind. By the mind, for the mind, of the mind. That is what he is in.
I think, yeah.
So now he has to see what is happening in that country inside.
Yeah.
So he comes to know that he has vruttis, and unless those vruttis are suppressed or obliterated, he cannot get to the self at all. He cannot understand what the self is. So he knows that by the knowledge of the others, not by his own knowledge. He has to first know from others that once his vrittis go down, he is going to get that self-realization. It is like somebody, it is very easy to see somebody getting RYT 200, and then you know that if you do that training, you will also get it. But here what it says is, you do that training and automatically you will get RYT 200. It's not like some certificate is going to be given. You cannot see it. So that is the difference between the material and spiritual. That what is going to happen at the end, that only happens when you reach that final stage. So that is why the most of the people do not do it, because they cannot see what the samadhi means. Or if I'm sitting like that, they don't know whether I'm in samadhi state, or they are not yet into the spiritual world, they are in material world. So they will say, okay, if I sit like that, will I get any more salary, or will I get any more name and fame, or something? I'll get better housing, or my health will improve. So that is what they go on thinking. And that is why what happens is, in the yoga field, you will find that most of the advertisement, they say if you do yoga, your health will improve, blood circulation will be good, your blood pressure will be in control, diabetes will be under control, or your breathing will be good, your stress will go down, and you can function better in the office. So they are giving all these material descriptions. But if they say that if you come to our class, you will go in samadhi state, and after that you will forget everything about yourself. then nobody will come to your class. Only one or two people will come. In fact, I'll give one funny example. Once I was invited in, it was in Virginia, and it was a very affluent society, and it was a very big Indian temple. And it was, I was supposed to be a speaker on Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day, and I had to give a speech. And that time, there were a lot of people in the temple who were attending my. So I asked them one simple question. I said that you have to answer that question immediately. Don't spend time. So I asked, how many of you will like to be to look beautiful? So almost everybody raised a hand. Okay. Then second question I asked is, how many of you want to have very good health and long life? So again, most of them raised a hand. And then third question I said, how many of you would like to go to Samadhi state just now? If I can provide you. So only one person raised the hand. And it was Indian temple. Just imagine, Indian temple. So and that temple was of Balaji, where they're supposed to be devoted to that and get merged into that deity. They're supposed to be devotee of that and get merged into that. So anyway, so what I'm saying is that therefore, wherever today people talk about yoga also, they always talk about material only. So they do not know what a spiritual is going to look like. So most of the spiritual people also, when they tell people about spirituality, they will try to give them some kind of material outlook, and then only they get attracted. Like they will tell that if you get this, you will be able to fly in the air. Something they'll tell material, like some kind of power, material things they will tell. So mysterious also becomes material only. So anyway, this way they are now inside, and they have to do all the vrittis, means the modification of chitta which has taken place inside their chitta. All those modifications have to be stopped. Now, how to stop that? And they have already reached one level in that. They are able to focus on one object inside the chitta. That much they have reached. So they are able to do up to that point. Now, that whole process of starting to focus the mind and to reach the first state where they are able to focus only on one object inside the chitta, that is the one only modification of the chitta. That means chitta has only one single modification of focusing on that chitta, on that object. Now, beyond that, what to do is the second practice. But what happens is that first he is trying to tell what kind of those modifications are, just to give as a part of his theory or infrastructure or etymology. He's telling what those modifications are. That's what we are. In 7.7, he's saying those listed. First one is pramana, second is viparyaya, third is vikalpa, fourth is nitra, and fifth is smruti. So they are listed in that 7.7. Now what I want to tell you is, just to give you, he is defining them later, but just to give you a Sanskrit meaning of them. Pramana, which is the first one, pramana. Pramana means it has proof, and ma means to measure. Ma means to measure, and mana means measurable. And pramana means surely, that means there is a proof. So this word PR, prefix PR, it makes everything prominent. See, prominent, progress, profess, proof. So PR and pramana, they are all coming from the same linguistic root. So PR makes it more powerful, proper, predefined. So promise. So pramana means there is measurable, one can measure it, and that means there is a proof. You can tell them why. That proof is there. That is called pramana. And due to that, that modification has a proof, and that's why it's called pramana. Second one is viparyaya. Viparyaya means a falsification. Viparya means misunderstanding. That means there is something and you are understanding it differently. This is a very interesting thing because many times I found in my own case that I had some understanding about something and it was totally wrong. It was so I stopped going there in later and I just kept quiet and then let me know later what happened. Like there was once one lady and I scolded her for not coming or coming late or something like that. And later I came to know that there was either her child was not well or somebody died in her family. So I made an assumption that she was lazy and that's why she did not come. But she was not lazy, she was doing something else. So, but it was happening very frequently in her case, of course. But that was happening not because she was lazy. Yes, she was wrong in coming late. She should correct it in some form. She should not come late. But I was assuming laziness, whereas her reason was something else. Maybe her reason is her mother-in-law is not wanting her to go or something like that. So viparyaya means that there is one understanding, but that understanding is not what the reality is. So actually, just to give you another way to look at it, viparyaya is avidya. Because if you remember those five kleshas, avidya means understanding one thing as something other than what it is. That is avidya. So viparyaya means wrong understanding. Now, vikalpa is also wrong understanding, but vikalpa is imagination. Kalpa means to imagine. Kalpana means imagination. Kalpa means you are imagining something which is not there. You are just imagining, like there is that you go to United States and you will get $1 million per month. You're just imagining. That's what many Indians imagine. And then they go there and they come to know that their visa is H1 and until that they cannot work for any other employer. So they have to, sometimes they work as a gas filling on the gas pump. Or I met one doctor from Russia. He was a doctor, medical doctor, but he was pumping the gas at the station in New Jersey. So he said that until his visa is complete, he has to do this. I know one lady who was doing toilet cleaning also. So there is an imagination that something is happening, but that's only an imagination. It is not misunderstanding. It is they are created, gone beyond the beyond the misunderstanding. I mean that imagination and misunderstanding, the difference is that when you do the misunderstanding, there is something to understand, but you are misunderstanding it. Like, yes, the lady is coming late, but I'm thinking she's coming late because she's lazy, but actually she's coming late because of something else. So this is the misunderstanding, viparyaya. But vikalpa means there is nothing to understand. The object itself is not there. You are just imagining that object. You are imagining that, in USA, everybody gets $1 million per month because the roads are looking very clean and the clothes of the people look better than India. So you are imagining that everybody has $1 million. That's what many people in India also think like, suppose David comes to India, they think that David has like many $1 million in his pocket and he should just give it to them because he doesn't know how to spend them. That's what many people think. So today my taximan told me that I should be giving him like 500 rupees when it costs only 100 or 200. He said, you never give me 500 rupees. So the actual cost is 100 or 200. So he thinks that I have a lot of money. So I explained to him, then he came to know the truth. But Vikalpa means that there is no object. Then the next is Pramana Viparya Vikalpa Nitra. Nitra means deep sleep. That means you are sleeping. Sleep. And Smruti. Smruti means memory. These are the general meaning of them. Now he is giving further understanding of each of these modifications. So the first one is called Pramana, and he is telling that there are 3 types of Praman. Praman means where you can give the proof. 7.8. Pratyakshanumana gama pramanani. Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means you yourself experienced it with your own faculty. You either saw it yourself. Actually, aksha means eyes and pratyaksha means eyewitness. But here it means any 5 senses. Like you saw it yourself or you heard it yourself. That sound of the bird, you heard it yourself, not you are imagining or somebody told you. Then third one is you smelt yourself. So using your own senses, you experience it yourself in given time. That is called pratyaksha, eyewitness, or real. At the current time, you experienced it. Next one is anuman. Anuman means deduction. So you are not experiencing it now, but you experience something like that in the past. And now you are experiencing only a part of it or some kind of indication of it. That indication is called linga. And what is experience is called lingi. So that you don't worry, that is going much deeper. But suppose you are seeing the smoke, and that smoke from your past experience, real experience, you know that the smoke comes from fire. So you thought that this smoke, I am experiencing the smoke now, that means there is a fire there. So this is called as anuman, means deduction. So you saw that Neil Kulkarni got 100 out of 100 in mathematics. So you think that he knows that subject very well. Because in the past you saw that the person who knows that subject completely got 100. So now you are imagining that he is getting 100. That means this is called deduction, that he is extremely good in the math. So that is what happens in the many the political circle, that the people believe that he has those qualities where by way of their experience. So that is anuman. And agama. Agama means you got that knowledge or experience by hearing some very trustworthy source. Agama means coming. It is coming from extremely trustworthy course. Like in India, basically it means from Vedas, because that Vedas are considered correct. So those people who think Vedas are correct are called Astik, and those who defy that, they are called Nastik. Even if their logic is similar, if they defy Vedas, they are called Nastik. So Buddhism is Nastik. Buddhism doesn't believe in Vedas. And there is another reason for that, but that we are not going into. But the all these six philosophies which I told you in the first lecture, those six, they all believe that Vedas is the final word. Now that is called Agama, but Agama means that it is coming from extremely trustworthy source. So Pratyaksha, Anuman, and Agama, these three have resulted in some understanding. Understanding means cognition, and cognition means modification of chitta. That cognition itself is the modification of chitta. That means chitta, there is something, some thought is there. Thought also is the modification of chitta only. When there is one thought, it is called only one thought is there and no other thought sustained for a long time. That's called samadhi. Now, the this modification is called pramana, means there is a proof for it. You can give a explanation of that. That's why it's called pramana. Now, next one is 7.9. Viparyayo michya jnanam atadrupa pratishtham. Viparyaya means mithya jnan. Mithya means false jnan, means false cognition. Atadrup means rupa means form, and atadrup means not in the real form. Pratishtham means established. That means there is a cognition, but the form of the cognition is not in its real form. So there is a rope, and that rope is cognized as snake. So it is cognized as snake rather than rope. So there is a cognition, but that cognition is in the form which is not the real form of that thing. Atadrupa pratishtham. It is established in a wrong understanding, false understanding. That is viparyaya. So that is 7.8. Next one is, see, 7.10. 7.9, sorry. 7.10. Shabda jnananupati vastushunyo vikalpaha. So last word is vikalpa. It is defining vikalpa here. Vastushunyo. Vastu means object and shunya means devoid. There is no object. Object is not there. But you still are feeling it because you are imagining it. How are you imagining it? See, when you imagine any object, what happens? Just think about it. See, suppose now you start imagining something. What happens? You cannot imagine something which is totally unknown to you. It is impossible to imagine something totally unknown to you. Suppose you imagine now that there is a sun, and the sun is totally circular. This you are imagining. Now, sun is an object, but that you have experienced. But now you are imagining that there is one bird, and the bird has 10 beaks, and bird also is flying underwater. Underwater it is swimming, but actually it is flying underwater. So now all these things it is impossible to have an object like that. But you are imagining that there is a bird. Now, how do you know the bird? Because you experienced bird in the past. So that bird is taken there. You experience something called flying, and you experience something called beaks. So all these together you formed, and that formation is, you are creating that formation like you are doing in the modern art, like imagining it. But actually there is no object like that. So sometimes people imagine that there is a bird, and that bird is drinking the moonlight. That bird, the moonlight. But actually there is no bird like that. Nobody has seen a bird who is drinking moonlight. So Imagination, vikalpa means a perverted imagination, vikalpa. That is the next one. Then nidra. Nidra means now it is defining nidra. See, this is a very interesting definition of nidra, and this is the first probably a proper definition of what sleep means. Sleep is not defined in the modern medicine at all. They don't know what the sleep is. Here the sleep is defined. Now, if you remember, I told you that the mind goes in 4 states. One is the awake state, second is dreaming state. So in awake state, the modification is pratyaksha. I told you that I will connect it later with the modification, those 4 states of mind. So awake state, the modification is pratyaksha. Because when you are awake, you actually experience things with your own senses. Then, when you are dreaming, that is viparya. In dreaming, you are experiencing directly, but you are seeing the form which is wrong. Then vikalpa is also a kind of vikalpa also happens in dream. Then nidra. Nidra means deep sleep. Now in deep sleep what happens is you are not dreaming, but you are experiencing something, and that experience is the modification. How do you know that? Because when you wake up, you know that you had a deep sleep. So if you ask somebody what happened in deep sleep, that deep sleep is recorded in your memory, and that's why you can say I had a deep sleep. But if you ask him what happened in that, you cannot tell, because you experience something what cannot be told. So now here he is defining that. 7.11. Abhava. Abhava means absence. Pratyaya. Pratyaya means experience. Abhava pratyaya means experience of absence. So this is very interesting. See, suppose this plastic brush is there. Now I am experiencing that this plastic brush is next to my right ear here. I'm experiencing this brush is around that much distance from me. And now I remove this brush. So I still know that the brush was here. But brush is not here now. But I'm still able to experience that the brush is absent. So I'm experiencing the absence of the brush and not the presence of the brush. So every time we experience something, we either experience as absent or present. So now what he's saying is, when you have a deep sleep, you are actually experiencing the absence. Abhava pratyaya. Alambana means it is alambana means it is made up of or dependent on. Vritti means modification. Nidra. So nidra is a modification of the chitta which is based on experiencing the absence. But experiencing absence of what? Everything. Everything what you know. Whatever you know, everything you know, that only you can experience in the sleep. And if you experience which is different from what it is, made up of some small pieces of memory, that is the dream or viparya. But if you experience an absence of everything you know, then you are experiencing something like a devoid. You are experiencing devoid. And that devoid experience is recorded in your memory that I experienced devoid. And that devoid experience is the deep sleep. Abhava pratyaya lambana vritti nidra. That's why when you wake up, you know that you had that deep sleep, but you cannot explain what you felt. Only thing you can say, I had a deep sleep. That's all you can say. It's a very interesting. Now, 7.12 is telling Smruti. Anubhuta Vishaya Asampramosha Smriti. Last word is Smruti. That is the memory or Smruti. And Anubhuta, first word. Anubhuta means previously experienced. Anubhut means you previously experienced and you are following that previous experience. Vishaya means object. Asampramosh. Musha means to give up. Musha means that just now I had this brush with me and now that brush I don't have. I gave up that brush. I'm giving up my flat now, that apartment where I'm living. After some days, I will not have this apartment with me. So that is called musha. Pramosha means totally giving up. And asampramosha means not able to give totally. Totally give up is not possible. So basically it means you remember part of it or whole of it. So the asampramosham is not able to give up completely of previously experienced object. Previously I experienced something and I'm not able to give up completely from my memory. I lived in this house for 17 years. Now I go to Mysore and I'm not able to completely forget that house at my will. Yes, I can forget it when I'm listening to some music for that time. But as soon as music is over, again I remember it. If I see the photo of it, if I can give it up at my own will completely, then it is different. But I'm not able to do that. So that means that that experience object is there in my mind all the time. It will come up at any time. That is the smruti or memory. So he has explained these 5 modifications in these sutras. Pramana viparjaya vikalpa nidra smrutayaha. So this is extremely important that these 5 understanding of these 5. If you find out any other way you think about it, you will come to know that they all fall into these 5 categories. It is obvious because whatever you are directly experiencing, that is a praman. What you are experiencing but it's wrong, that is viparya. Then there is no object but you are still experiencing because you are imagining, that is the vikalpa. Then you are not experiencing anything and you are in deep sleep but you are able to experience the absence, that is the nidra. And previously you experienced, now you are not experiencing, but previously experienced but now you are not able to get out of it. So that previous experience is coming into your mind again and again. That is the smruti. So these 5 modifications are very important. So yoga chitta vritti nirodha, that is the famous sutra of Patanjali, which I modified. Chitta vritti nirodhat nirbija samadhi. I changed it into that, which we covered last time. So now we have covered the 5 vrittis of the chitta, and those are the ones one has to stop or remove those modifications. That we will start next time. How to remove them.
Okay. And it makes sense because people remember and remember it incorrectly. And that's
Yeah,
court cases. Every court case is based on incorrect memory
yeah.
and perception. And how do you modify it? And how do you find the correct? And then
Another thing is
like
that see, we think that that memory is very important. Like those people who go through depression or some problems, anger problem, they experience something and they cannot forget it. So the problem is that yes, something bad was there, but they are experiencing that now as if it is happening now. It is not happening now. Like the black people, they were mistreated in the past. Yes, true. But it is not happening now. But if they react as if it is happening now, they will start murdering the white people. No, yes, it was bad, and we should take care of it so that it doesn't happen again, etc. That is all fine. But one should not behave as if it's happening now. But what happens is that suppose I see one movie and I'm black, and that movie is showing that black people is mistreated, I go and murder some other white person who has nothing to do with what happened in that movie. So this happens a lot. So basically, what is happening is that the chitta is not able to remove those modifications, and that's why the self is not realized. Only thing they are realizing is the world, either uh, correct world or wrong world, and that correct and wrong world is changing all the time. So they are never able to come to a conclusion which is true. So unless they come to that conclusion, they cannot get self-realization. They are only moving in the moving world, not in the immovable spirit. This
Is
is
that
very,
is that what psychiatrists, sociologists, and all those different? Is that what they do? They try to modify the perceptions that people have.
yeah. Actually, the I heard that in Christianity also there are some parts where this logic is taken. They are meditating, etc. They are meditating monks, and they have almost the same logic that they have to realize the self, and they are not just doing the religion; they are doing this spiritually.
And shouldn't that be true of any religious leader?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that they will go there only if they feel. That's the main point, that they have to feel that. If they are feeling only material enjoyment, then they will think that the God is giving them everything to enjoy. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, now let me stop this first and then.